Hello and welcome to the Bye Guy Reviews, where good movies rise and bad ones burn. Now, okay, so I know I said postpone the road to Saw X, but honestly, I'm kind of feeling better now, despite me still coughing and such, and still having some sniffing problems with my nose running and such, but well, a bit, but I'm fine now, so maybe I can try continuing this on. And I know that Saw X is next Friday, so I gotta hurry up with the whole rest, even though I'm now on Saw 4. Which, yes, ladies and gentlemen, we are continuing the Saw franchise with Saw 4. And I know some of the new horror fans are wondering, well, how does the Saw legacy continues with both Amanda Young and John Kramer being dead? Well, let's find out, because let's dig into Saw 4. So the movie begins with the autopsy, where they are again doing an autopsy on John Kramer's body. Which, yes, fans, basically they're just flouts showing you that John is D-E-A-D in case you wanted to think about those superhero movies. No, they show that he's dead, gone, from the world, etc. And the way it is, they just peel his head open, only the top part, from the back and the top, and then open up his skull to grab his brain and weigh it. Cut his stomach open or torso open, and then open a little more with another layer, and then grab his stomach and cut the stomach open, revealing that there's a little tape inside. Cause if you remember in Saw 3, he was pouring stuff on a tape full. However, what you didn't know is that he folded it up and straight up ate it, just with one gulp. I don't know why, but yeah. So they get Detective Mark Hoffman from the last Saw movie, even though he only been in one scene and such, and he plays the tape, which John tells him about how he's probably the last man standing, and his work will continue despite the game. Besides, they think it might be over just because he's dead, but the game's just begun and such like that. Then we move on to a trap called the Magnum Trap, I think it's called, or whatever it's called. But to some people, we wait to call it the See No Evil and Speak No Evil trap because because one guy named Trevor has his eyes stitched shut, and on the other side of the room, a guy named Art Blank has his lips shut. Yeah, and in the middle, there's a device that's pulling their chains closer and closer together, and will strangle them if they don't get out of their life. But again, their eyes and mouth are stitched up. Well, one person's eyes are stitched up, while the other one's mouth is stitched up, so they can't properly communicate. However, Art Blank actually finds the key, which basically has the key that is behind his back. Yeah, sorry, I had a piece of cookie in my mouth. And yeah, at the end, and Art Blank killed Trevor, and after taking the chain off of him, he rips his stitches open, even though he could have done that from the freaking beginning for some reason. But yeah. Then after the title card, they show a bunch of cops going going through a different or a random building, which they use a special robot attached to a camera to go deeper into it in case of any traps. And also, yes, obviously is led by Officer Rigg from Saw 2 and 3. It also has Mark Hoffman as well. And take a one wild guess of what they found once the camera caught something. Just take one guess. Yeah, it was Carrie, the dead girl in the angel fall trap, who was still hanging there. But Rigg decided to break the copper and just run after towards the body just to see her dead body and such. But yeah, and then Rigg talked about how he wishes he could save not just Carrie but everybody, but obviously he can't because, you know, he just couldn't without knowing. So yeah, since this Jigsaw killer is really getting to them, they decided to finally get the FBI into the mix, where we meet our new two characters for the franchise, Agent Perez and Agent Strom, who they both examined on Amanda, or Carrie, and then they realized that Amanda could not picked up Carrie and put him in that trap on her own. And they talk about what about John, or Peter said, no, Mark said what about John, and Peter Strom said, no, he's brains, not bronze. Which is obviously, because telling by his weakened body, you knew that it can't be, Amanda or John. So, again, there might be a third complex. And then later on, they was back in the office, and Hoffman and Rigg talk about how Eric Matthews is still out there, and despite Hoffman's telling him that Eric has been gone for 6 months while Carrie's been gone for 4 days. Yes, it took them 4 days to find the girl. And Hoffman also just tells him to go home, and yes, I have a little toy truck right here, but that's not, the point. Then later on, when Rigg's wife left to go visit his mother, who is sick, one night Rigg heard some noise, looked around the house, and then get kidnapped by the Pig Mask. Meanwhile, Hoffman wrote something down, random, and put some piece of paper on a letterbox or envelope. It's envelope. It's envelope. However, what he didn't see is a pig mask behind him. Yeah, but then Rigg wakes up in the bathroom and realizes that he's now in a trap where Jigsaw is testing him to see if he can, try to learn the true meaning of saving a person's life. And revealing that Eric Matthews is in fact still alive, just hanging on an ice block. But right next to him is Hoffman sitting in a chair. Yeah. So anyways, basically, Rigg has 90 minutes to go save the duo, or they're both gonna die. So then, anyways, the next trap is the hair pull trap. So ladies, and especially men with long hair like I am, get ready to feel uncomfortable, because this one is gonna be gonna feel awkward for us when we watch this scene. Because basically, all Rick has to do was try find the combination in the gears. Otherwise, her hair is gonna be pulled all the way back hard enough to rip her scalp off, aka his entire hair. Which, yes, Rick eventually saves her, but apparently he randomly grabbed a knife out from under the TV, and then she tries to kill Rick, but Rick kills her, which then randomly showed interesting transition where Rick throws her through a glass window or glass door, and show police finding out that Rick's been kidnapped, and yeah, again, that's just freaking, that's an odd transition. I honestly hope Sonic can do that. Just have some interesting transition and such. But anyways, then Rick, after that home, as Rick found the tape where it revealed that the girl's name is Brenda, and she'll have to make a choice on whether or not, for when Rick, saves his life, and that's to either accept her fate in prison or kill him and guarantee her freedom. But it's too late, and Brenda, of course, dies because of the blood loss. And then on his way out, he found 2 keys, and with a little note saying, one saves life, one takes it away. Then he takes it and leaves. But meanwhile, Eric Matthews and Mark Hoffman then was still stuck and such. And they show in a flashback that after Amanda beat the shit out of Eric so much that she thought she killed him, apparently some hood figure dragged him away and took him to a prison cell to keep him in there for a long while, up until the main game. And also, basically he was in a jail cell for 6 months. And a random figure here comes in, closes the door, and Then Strong and Perez realized was an investigation about the, extra trap. And President Sean talks about it a little more, but yeah. And then they decided, sorry for the long pause, I'm kind of tired, but I'm trying to do this anyway. Then they went to go get that one lady from John's vision, shadowing up being his ex-wife Jill Tux. And they brought him in to talk to her about how the games are happening. But meanwhile, Rick got to a hotel where the hotel key is for. And for the next game, he has to go kidnap a gentleman named Ivan, who is the owner / counter of the gentleman, and then put him in a red room which is definitely going to make all of us uncomfortable for this one, because yes, Ivan is being tested because he's a rapist. And Jigsaw tells him that he has to put him on the bed and strap him in and give him 2 buttons that will save his life. And for extra uncomfortable reason, John shows footage of Ivan being a rapist. And then he just sets him up on the trap, and this next game, called the bedroom trap, Ivan all has to do is push 2 buttons where it'll stab both of his eyeballs. But if he fails, then the straps will rip his limbs out, aka his arms and legs. Yeah, he did stab one part of his eye, but he was too late. So then, after he died, and that rapist tape ends, Rick found another note that says, "Become the teacher and save a life. Go back to where it all begins." Then it's all about a flashback where he was talking about where he's talking to a little girl at school, and her father, Rex, was secretly abusing her, but Rick was kind of seeing in his eyes a bit. Yeah, and his wife Morgan just let it happen, because that's what, unfortunately, some mothers that does when they have an abusive husband and such. So yeah, and after a simple pat on the back by Rick, just decided to beat the shit out of him, while Rex screamed that he just made the biggest mistake of his life. But we'll get back to that a little later on about that. So yeah, Jill talks about his love life with John, where drug clinic where it gave John the motto "Cherish your life." John and Jill talked to each other, and then one day, a gentleman named Cecil was having a meltdown because he was tired of Wayne. But then he got into a fight with a gentleman named Gus. And yes, when I mean Gus, I mean the Magnum eye-hole guy from, so dude got... Yeah. However, Cecil nearly was gonna kill people with a switchblade, but John stops him, thankfully. I don't know how, but yeah. Then he talks about how at one point John and Jill got a building room. I don't know. I think it was in a meatpacking plant named Gideon. I think that was it. And yeah, and he showed Jill some stuff that he got. Like he got a clock for them to show how long, because of their time of love and all and such, and they got a big crib and a young on Billy the Puppet antique dolly, which looks odd and interesting. And I'm surprised that thing even became a sales product for the Saw community. And yeah. And speaking of Gideon, when John and Jill was dating, Jill had a baby. And again, they was gonna name him Gideon. But then one night, shit went bad. Which I'll tell you. Because as Jill was letting people leave while locking the clinic for the night. But meanwhile, John was waiting in the car for her. And, god damn it. Yeah, and again, nose running and all. However, he gets a visit from Addison, the pink shirt girl from Saw 2, who ended up in the razor wire glass box trap. And yeah. Meanwhile, when Jill was about to leave, Cecil pop out of nowhere and asks where the jacket is in the clinic, but when she's open, she pulls a knife on her and tells him just to go get in and get some drugs. But due to his so much rushing, he accidentally pushed the door on Jill and pushed on her belly. And mind you, she's 7 months pregnant. So, yeah. Then, John saw Cecil leaving. He runs inside the clinic to see Jill on the floor. He takes her to her hospital. And, obviously, they unfortunately lost their baby. And, yeah. And Joe at one point said that all she wanted to do was help him, but John said that you can't help them. They have to help themselves. Remember that line because it might come sooner or later. So yeah. Meanwhile, Strom and Perez found the bedroom trap again because obviously, and they realized that the room that they was in was Art Blank's room. And yeah. Also, yeah, I'm talking about the stitch up mouth dude Art Blank. Then, and meanwhile, in Eric Hoffman, the mysterious person's room, Eric decided to kill himself by hanging himself with the chain status around his neck. However, there was on a tear tire, so the tear till with wire going over to electrocution wire thing and also being by Hoffman's chair. So the hooded person tells him that if he gets off the ice block, then he'll electrocute Hoffman. But if that ice block melt even further, then he'll be fried. And Hoffman tells him to listen to him, so he reluctantly agreed, since he's been through these games before. And then Hoffman notices the guy and realizes that was Art Blank himself. And also, just to be further on spoiler, because I don't care about this little arc of Art Blank, but no, he's not the new accomplice. So don't get it twisted. But further flashback shows that after that fight with Rig and Rex, Art Blank was actually Rig's lawyer, and maybe Rex lawyer, I don't know, but they ended up lying to Art Blank and such, and they got Rex arrested because, abuse. Yeah. So meanwhile, Rick got to the school and realized that the bodies of Morgan and Rex are there. And Morgan wakes up, screams, I'll tell you about how she won. Which he was like, what are you talking about? So this next trap, I think called the Love Arrow Trap. I'm not sure. But yeah. Was about how Rex and Morgan was stuck in a trap together with some spikes all over their bodies. All Morgan had to do is pull out the spikes from her body or bleed to death from it. And yeah, she does it because, she'd rather live than not live with an abuser. Yeah. So then, Rick at first tried saving Morgan, but he knew that if he pulled more spikes out of her, he would end up killing her. Because, it's freaking dangerous and such. However, Rick found a photo of his wife, and then in the back it says, go home, but the G reminds him of the Gideon meatpacking plant. So he looks over at Morgan and tells her, you gotta save yourself, cover her with his jacket, then leave him while pulling the fire alarm. Because honestly, that's the closest thing you'll ever get to having help in a saw trap. Yeah. And yes, the boys then Prez and Strom and up there, and but however, out of nowhere, when one officer was checking for fingerprints on bow and arrow gun, he accidentally said, with shoot a police photographer. I don't know why it happened, but okay. Then they realized that Art Blank is Jill Tux's lawyer. And they found an email or something that came from their school that they're in. So they went to a different room and found Billy the puppet is in a chair. Agent pressed the button, and he was talking about how her next move would be critical. But all you hear was open the door and was looking at something, but that's all there was. And Bryce got closer and closer and closer until half of his head popped and nearly killed and got stuff all over her face, which I don't know what it was, but yeah. And Sean get the paramedics and then so Bryce gets carried away in the hospital and out of the movie. Then Strong goes over to Jill to ask her many freaking questions, even getting up on her face and slams on the wall just to scare her butt. Like, goddamn, I know he was his ex-wife, John's ex-wife, but dude, that is just freaking sexual assault without even sexualizing her. But yeah, I'll stop right there. Anyways, so then it shows flashback that Jill and Art Blank tries convincing John to get out of his mental state and try But yeah, so this is my old phone case. I'm using this one because how. Yeah. Anyway, so then that was the end of Jill and John's marriage, but it wasn't the end for them entirely, because then after the whole diagnosed with cancer tumor and such, and the car crash, Jill tried to go convince John about getting on his mental state, but then see some pictures on John's desk with Cecil on, and ask him what did he do to him, which shows flashback within flashbacks that John kidnapped Cecil and made him his first game person a slightly bit before that whole failed 5-way trap from Jigsaw, which we'll get to in the future, so don't you worry. Yeah, so this next trap for Cecil is called the night chair trap, where apparently his wrist was stab on the chair he's stuck on, which looks dangerous. And all he has to do is push his face through a bunch of through the knife mask, otherwise he can just sit there and bleed out. And he eventually tries doing it, but again, since this is his first trap, the chair falls apart entirely. And despite losing plenty of blood, he decided to kill John anyway, but tripped over and went into the barbed wire crib, or whatever, and dies then. And Jill asks what happened to you, but John gets into a pissy fit and whacks the clock that of their marriage to pieces. And he told her to not come back on, and she left. And then John reveals that there's a glass box that he's working on, which obviously, yes, will come in Solid 5. So stay tuned for Solid 5 for the Body Guy reviews on that. So then, when Strong realized that their unborn baby was named after the meatpacking plant Gideon, he marches back in there, gets up in his face, slamming on the window walls again, asking him, "Where is it?" Okay, yeah, I'm doing too much talking, but yeah. So then he got to the Gideon meatpacking plant, and sees a note that talks about how he should have patience and time is on his side, but he didn't know what that means. But yeah. However, earlier in the movie, Art Blank gives Eric a gun with one bullet inside, and Eric looks up and sees 2 extra ice box right between near Eric's head, and Art saw the change that will go to the door, and he's like, "You better not come through the door." And all Eric can do is scream, "Who's coming through the door?" Because no one knows who's coming through the door. And yeah, he keeps saying that while screaming as well, "Who is it?" Yeah, but then Strong made it to the Gideon meatpacking plant and called for backup. And then found a keychain of pictures of Jeff, Lynn, Corbett, and their son / brother Dylan. And then, shockingly enough, in a different part of the place of the room shows Jeff. Because shockingly enough, Saw 3 and 4 takes place at the same time. I am not fucking joking. It is happening at the same time. Which is... But yeah. But anyway, so Rick gets closer and closer to the room that Eric, Strawn, Hoffman and Art Blank are at. while Strom is going towards the end of Saw 3, and you get it. But yeah, I ain't gonna retell you the ending of Saw 3 because y'all know what happened then. If you haven't seen, wanna know, then just go look at my Saw 3 Bye Guy reviews. So, but we'll get back to that in a little bit. First, we should finish up the Saw 4 part, where apparently our Blank takes off his hoodie and hat, revealing that he has a trap to where it's on his bag, which looks like it's supposed to rip his spine out or something. I'm not sure. But yeah, then he had a button where it says release. Eric asks, what is that? And Art says that this will release us when the timer's out. Yeah, Eric was screaming, release me, release me. But Hallman just stood there mad at Art for some reason. Then Rick comes in at the final time and seconds and he screams for Eric, but Eric screams to don't open the door. But what does he do? He opens up on the freaking door! Because yes, and I'm going to say this slowly on this part so y'all can understand this one. Because yes, as he opens the door, Eric tries shooting Rick. But while that bullet is slowly getting to Rick shoots Art Blank while he screams no, and then Rick is hit by the bullet. But meanwhile, O2 Blacks was swinging down and crushed Eric Matthews' head into pieces while the tear tire tilts over so that it can electrocute Mark Hoffman. And yeah. So now back to Strom. After the door closing on Lynn's death, Strom tries to get in, but it was odd. But then he remembered the key from earlier in the beginning of the movie with the carry-on. Then decides to use the key to that to open the door, and then he saw Jeff with a gun and tells him, let me see your hand, but he screams, where is my daughter, you? And then he gets shot in the torso twice, killing Jeff completely. Unfortunately. Rest in peace, Jeff. Even though you wanted your daughter back, at the end, you can go fuck yourself. Just fuck you. But yeah. Anyway, so Strom sees Amanda's dead body, Lynn's dead body, Jonathan's dead body. But meanwhile, Rick was in pain from the bullet. And was gonna arrest Art Blank. But yeah. And then Art Blank tries grabbing something from the bag, which was the tape recorder, but Rick shoots Art in the head as Art played the tape. And he revealed that had he let the timer go down to 0, he could have saved all 3 of them. But since he was too rushed to save them, they're now dead. Because again, if you remember what John said earlier in the flashbacks about how he can't help them, they have to help themselves, that's what he means in this movie. Again, it's a race against time, people. Time. Yeah. And then next thing, plot twist reveals that John's real new accomplice was Detective Mark Hoffman, who was actually not dead from the water electrocution, and he got out of the chair, standing up and walking up to Rick. Then shows the reveal that he was indeed the dude that cannot carry, put him in the trap, and putting a piece of paper in the envelope was actually a letter to Amanda, which made her cry. But I know you're just kind of curious on what was in that letter, but I'll get to it once we reach Dog 6, because that's the closest thing you're gonna hear about it. Yeah. However, the pig mask behind Helmet earlier wasn't any kidnapper, no. It was actually just hanging there, or sitting on the wall and waiting to be warned so he can go get Eric, Rig, Arblank, and the other gang to start this whole hullabaloo. Yeah. Then he switched out the computers, tell Rig's game over, which Rig randomly dies, I believe. Yeah. Then walks over to the door where Sean's still in, and he closes the door and turned off the lights, locked it, and left. And then ending with the autopsy scene again, but showing a deeper meaning on what John was mean with Strong. Or with Hoffman, sorry. And yeah. The movie is good, but not better than Saw 3. It is still pretty good. And well, then again, it is slightly better than Saw 3. I don't know what I'm saying, but yeah. So, thanks for watching today's episode of Bye Guy Reviews. Here's my social medias. You can follow all of them there, and yeah. And I'll see you guys next time. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and stay tuned as we continue on the road to Saw X.